Hi everyone, I'm Patty Wagner from the Big Blue Canopy, and today I'm going to be talking about fun ways and activities to incorporate with your kid to work on in-hand manipulation skills. Okay, so first, what is in-hand manipulation? Well, in-hand manipulation is the ability to move and position an object within one's hand without using the other hand. And when we look at in-hand manipulation, we look specifically at three different things. We look at translation, and translation is just, let's say I have an object in my hand, and I can put that in my palm and move it out to my fingertips and back in my palm again. We also look at shift, and that's linear movement between the fingers. An example of that, if I have a pencil or a marker, and I have to move up the shaft of that marker or pencil and back down. The other thing we look at closely is rotation, and that's the ability to move one or more on that object's axis. Example of that is maybe I'm writing, and then I have to rotate or turn that pencil to erase, and then turn back over to begin writing again. So with in-hand manipulation, it starts with toddlers at about 1 1/2 years of age, and that continues to develop and refine to 6 and 7 years of age for really complex hand skills. An example of that is when they're tying their shoes. So that entails all those translation, rotation, and shift movements. So what I do when I first begin with my kids in therapy is I do preparation work. And preparation is just, you think about, a runner, they stretch, right, before they run. So the same kind of idea applies to this. So I want to work that hand and those muscles and everything and get these skills. But first I want to do some prep work. So I can do things like if you have stress balls, or Theraputty, or Play-Doh, where you squeeze, 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 and then you relax and squeeze, 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 and they come in a variety of things. If you don't have that, just use your own hands. You can also do some weight-bearing activities with them, wheelbarrow walking, prone over a ball, and weight shifting, just to get a lot of that tactile prope input on that hand. You could do fun games, sing-alongs, clapping games, or anything you like, but that would be a good idea. This is some hair bands, and I like to put that in, like bringing it out and bringing it in, just to get that hand all ready. Another fun thing to do is I'll get them down on the carpet, and I'll move in like a figure of 8 manner, so I really push down on that carpet, and it gives a ton of that tactile prope input, and kids really seem to enjoy that. So what I then do is I move into the activities, and a lot of our families we've made up like a little box, and it's kind of like a treasure chest. It makes it fun for them, but they're in-hand manipulation box or whatever. And sometimes I'll have them like, I'll pick one and they pick one. So I want to show you some activities that I just have today that you might want to put in your box. So let's first begin here. So maybe you have items and they have to pick it up with one hand, store it in their hand, and then bring it back out again. Now, when they get good at that, they can have 2 or more items. So I have to hold this blue little ball and then bring that out and place it, and then bring the other one out. Okay, so we're scaffolding that higher level. So you can use any kind of little small manipulatives, game pieces and that kind of thing, or buttons or coins. Okay? Here's another fun activity where you take 2 balls and you're just kind of rotating one over the other, one over the other, one over the other. Or if you have little game pieces or coins or whatever where they're flipping it over as fast as they can, and then maybe they try to do that faster the next time and beat their score. You can also do things like I took a tennis ball here and I slid it And then I drew a silly face on it. And then they can squeeze it so it really works hand strengthening and gets those arches of the hand. And they could even then feed this little guy or put coins in it or talk with it. Just make it fun. You can take a piece of paper and they have to take their hand and they have to crumple that up and really squeeze and get that thumb involved and those fingers involved and push that, and then they can flick that away. That's always fun. I took a block and I put different pictures on it. You could put stickers on it. You hold it up so toward the ceiling and say, find the ice cream cone. So they have to move it around. There it is. And point it toward the ceiling. So that's another good one. Any kind of things like opening up bags, Ziplocs, the seal bags, anything is great for that. Opening up any of those little condiments to practice that skill. The lacing cards, use of pom-poms, and any kind of tool use where they pick them up. And any of the like different tongs or that kind of thing is great in picking up any little items or pom-poms or that thing. So those are just examples of that. Taking this and then twirling that around to work on in-hand manipulation skills. Putting coins in a piggy bank. I took a little medicine cup and they have to hold it up, put a little water in it, and maybe they rotate that to their thumb and little pinky and then rotate it back to make it a game. I've done games where they're a waiter or waitress and they have to put like a lightweight item on their hand or a tray, and then they carry something and try not to make it spill over or drop off. That's always fun. Of course, if you have Play-Doh or Theraputty, this is always a favorite with kids, where they take an item and you hide it and say, try to find the dinosaur. And then they're searching around. There it is. And that kind of thing. That's always great. And let's see, any kind of wind-up toys like that. And they wind up. If you have crayons that are little or broken, don't throw them out. You can, and these are these flip crayons with Handwriting Without Tears has these. And so they have two different colors. So you're writing and you flip it over and then you do the other side. That's a great skill. Use of safety kind of play scissors with cutting Theraputty or Play-Doh is great. Stringing beads is great. Any kind of tops, card games, flipping them over, any kind of little tools and arts and crafts, or making hole punches in paper. I love these things. They're real inexpensive. They're called Wiki Sticks, and they're just string with colored wax on it. And you could take that and they could be learning like make a circle or, you know, whatever, or they could go over their alphabet letters. And you could integrate that within their academics, but also working on in-hand manipulation. And then also any kind of finger puppets or any kind of manipulatives like squeezing clothespins or putting any kind of things like these together. And of course there's a lot of good games out there like for plunk or pick up sticks or anything like that. So those are some examples I have, but just look around your house. Kitchen gadgets is a great place to look, but make it fun and have a good time with it. So thank you very much for joining in. And if you have any questions, feel free to let me know, and I'll be happy to get back with you. And please join us Monday on Facebook Live, because Jess, our speech therapist, will be covering social stories related to COVID-19 and specifically dealing with emotions at this time and social distancing. So stay safe, and thank you again.